So when did you start going by Ant?
A&T, I started going by A&T 2008, probably.
All right, and so when did you... So Ant Won't Stop. Tell me about that.
Well, me and my friend Ed Muffs, we did a song for my third mixtape, I think, and it was called A&T Won't Stop.
Right.
So when I made Twitter in like 2010, I had to come up with a name, a Twitter name.
Right.
And I thought, why not use Ant Won't Stop?
And what does that represent to you? I mean,
that I'll never stop
I was
doing
about
my
to say
craft.
it's pretty self-explanatory, but you know, just in case. So when did you start rapping? In one of your songs, it said 7th grade. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
And did you start writing, or did you start just rapping other songs, or what exactly did that mean?
Well, the way it came about was I had to do a science project, and the science project was you either do a PowerPoint or some kind of other presentation, or you can make a song about it.
Right, like
so
a
I was
poem
like,
or
let me try to make a song about photosynthesis.
I can't think of a better song.
That was it, photosynthesis.
That's awesome. So, when did you decide that's what you wanted to do?
That I wanted to become a rapper?
Yeah. At what age also? What made you decide that?
That's a good question. Well, my brother and his friends were always trying to do rap songs all the time. Mm-hmm. So I always wanted to be like my brother and his friend because I idolized them. So ever since I saw them do it, I tried to do it myself.
Awesome.
And it wasn't until that time, the photosynthesis song, mm-hmm. that my brother gave me a chance to actually get in the studio and actually do a song.
Was your brother older than you?
Yeah, older brother.
By how much?
4 years.
Oh wow. Does he still rap?
No.
Oh, you guys should.
He does clothing.
Together. I want a song. Oh,
What a Funk.
What a
so
funk.
if you ever hear me talking about What a Funk in my songs, that's his clothing brand.
And you do, don't you?
Always.
What songs can we hear that on?
No Detours is basically an advertisement for What a Funk.
That's awesome.
We're on the grind selling clothing SUVs, trunk full of What a Funk tees.
Look at you representing the fam.
You know?
I like that. So that's when really it started for you. What influences did you have growing up? Because in one of your songs you said, I do this for Pac.
Tupac, definitely one of my influences. Yeah.
So I love Pac. So we're about to have a long conversation.
Okay.
So what's your favorite Pac song? And what about him?
My favorite Tupac song? That's such a hard question.
Did you watch the movie? Did you cry?
I watched the movie. I didn't cry.
My mom cried only because she lived it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She got super emotional, but
of course I watched the movie. I liked it in certain aspects, but other aspects I think were kind of like
extra.
Yeah, made up or stuff like that.
So what about Tupac influenced you so much in your music?
Although his music, he always had a good message, and all his interviews really inspire me. Like, I watch all the rare Tupac interviews on YouTube throughout the years.
Absolutely.
And I used to watch his movie Resurrection religiously. I used to watch it like every day. And I always liked Tupac. I liked Biggie before I liked Tupac.
Right.
But then I went back and I was like, Tupac is way better. He has a message.
Yeah,
Biggie didn't really have a message.
That's the thing, though. People always feel like you have to choose. To some extent, you probably should.
Yeah.
You don't have to, because they're
great in their own right. I would say that.
Absolutely. So who's your favorite rapper at the moment? Because we were talking about this before. Which I guess we can kind of hand in hand ask, how do you feel about the direction that hip-hop's taking right now?
Well, my favorite rapper at the moment, since he's still alive, I'd have to say Nas, because he's always putting out the best stuff to me.
Absolutely.
And he's right up there with Tupac for me. If I had to choose one, I don't know who I would choose.
And I don't understand why people say Nas has trash beats, because I don't.
Never. He picks his beats so selectively.
That's what I said.
He turned down Ninth Wonder, who's one of the dopest producers, because he didn't like his beats weren't up to par yet. And then he went with him once, Ninth Wonder was at the level. Absolutely. But as far as the current direction of rap, there's good and there's bad. Since modern day, everybody could be a rapper nowadays.
Absolutely.
So Kendrick Lamar is my favorite current modern day rapper because he actually has a message, kind of like Tupac, and he's also very lyrical, and he always talks about something good.
Right. How did you feel about his last album?
It was great. That was a great album.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
That's what I don't get. People See, my thing with Kendrick is people were so late on his hype, right?
Yeah.
So people didn't really recognize he was great until people started saying that until after Damn came out.
Yeah, yeah.
In my opinion, Damn was not his
Yeah,
best
so you're saying
album.
it's like overrated, everybody jumping on the wagon type
Yeah,
thing?
exactly. So it's questionable because Kendrick does have the skill, but he's had the skill.
He's
right?
he's had it. He's had it since his first album with
Absolutely.
Was it Don't Kill My Vibe? That was the first public album he had.
Good Kid.
That album was crazy.
Best album. That, in my opinion, it was the best album. But now people are now saying it
jumping on the
just
wave
because the hype is up. So that's my thing with Kendrick. But absolutely.
And plus, he has a lot of features that he wouldn't have had on his other albums. On this particular album,
right?
Like Rihanna.
Right. You're right.
So it might be a little more pop appealing to like people who are casual fans.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, so what I did notice is all your projects have titles that have great messages behind them. So 2013, you came out with Still Dreaming.
Yes.
Right, so I know your girlfriend's here.
No, that's cool.
Are you willing to disclose whether Susie and Willow were real people or did they represent something?
That's a good question. Going back to Willow, that was based on a true story.
Okay.
But I always will add truth or add some fiction to my stories.
Right.
So Willow is based on a true story, but I added fiction to it.
Okay.
And Susie is a made-up story.
Perfect.
That's a great. I love that song.
I love it too.
It's a made-up story, but I added some real elements to it, and added a fictitious name to the girl.
That's what I was wondering. I was
fake name.
Did he really just call Susie out right there?
No.
Would you consider yourself a producer or consider producing more because you have a great ear for the instrumentals, beats, and samples that you put in your projects?
Yes, I definitely consider myself a producer because producing is not necessarily making beats.
Right.
Producing, like back in the day, was when you got all the whole band in the studio,
right,
and you told them how the song is going to sound. You're producing a record.
Right.
So I consider myself a producer in that aspect, and I'm somewhat of a beat maker.
Right.
Because I co-produce on beats, I collaborate on beats, make my own beats.
And just like you kind of touched on, back in the day, hip hop was like whatever you put out, that was the moment for you. And if it wasn't the best project that you put out, it wasn't gonna make it. Now people use it as just it's disposable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's crazy because there's thousands of songs uploaded to SoundCloud and YouTube per day.
Every day.
It's nuts.
And there's a new hot song every second.
Always changing. And most of those hot songs don't stand up in time. You know?
They don't.
You'll listen to the hottest song from 2016 and you'll be like, what is this really about? You know what I'm saying? In 10 years.
Because there's no substance.
Tupac's music still holds up in time.
That's what I'm saying.
It's timeless.
That's what I'm saying. And that's why Kendrick's a different story, but I'll use it kind of as an example. Kendrick is not a new rapper, but to the world, he is new because he's now the best.
Yeah, he is.
That he could be, or that he has been, right? But you can't compare Kendrick to someone like Pac.
No.
Because he doesn't have the experience.
No, he doesn't.
Right? So,
well, I mean, he may have the experience of Tupac because Tupac wasn't rapping for that long, if you think about it.
Pac wasn't popping for that long. Pac was... I've talked to people that, like... And it's so weird because I wasn't alive when, like, I just missed him. Like, I was probably one when he passed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it's like, people was telling me, like, Pac wasn't that hot in 96. Like, there was a different, or 94. And 96 was when he was at his peak. That's when he
All
passed.
Eyes on Me.
Right. So, it's so different, like, watching it from not being there. Because, like, people say, well, do you need another legend after they die? Like, do you need to wait until Kendrick dies to have him be a legend? You know what I mean? Because that's what people say with Pac.
People are saying Drake is a legend. I mean, I don't even consider himself a rapper.
Exactly, absolutely.
Some of these songs are rap songs.
Yeah.
He does rap, as in like as opposed to sing on some songs. But I don't consider him a rapper. Like, if you were to name the top 10 rappers of all time, definitely wouldn't put Drake on it.
I wouldn't either. I would. It's like questionable whether I would call him an artist because I don't think he's a. I don't think he's one person doing.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
it's kind of like
so
people might be mad at this, but it's kind of like Beyonce in a sense because
yeah.
she has a lot of songwriters,
Absolutely.
she has a lot of producers.
I always say that.
It's
I always
not just
say
her.
Beyonce is great. Okay, she's great. She's overrated.
I agree. I might get some flack for that.
I know. I totally understand. But all right. So then in 2014, you came out with Dreams Never Die.
Yes.
Right, which is another example of your albums being like the best names ever.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Out of My League was my favorite song off that.
Thank you.
You have
I recorded the guitar riff off that.
Oh, did you?
My friend performed it. We were in a classroom because the studios were taken in school because I went to school for music.
Right.
So both of the recording studios were taken, and I needed that guitar on the song. It was so good. So I was like, yo, let's just go to this classroom and let's record it there. So we just recorded it in the classroom.
Oh wow! I didn't know you went to school for music.
Yeah.
And you went where? You said
Mercy College.
Wow.
Right across the river.
Right across the river. So you prefer a band, as I hear in this album, or the production of beats and samples?
Oh, that's a hard question. I would say either one.
Either or.
Both are good for different things. I would prefer a band for live, definitely. But it's just hard with the band aspect.
Right.
To have all the band members on the same page, rehearsals, make sure everyone's happy.
Mm-hmm.
The band thing wasn't even...
Life, am I right?
Yeah, the band thing wasn't even a plan from the beginning. I was just trying to do one song with the band. I mean, one show with the band.
Right.
And then we just ended up doing a whole tour and then an album. So I was
And
like,
how did you meet them? How did that...
How did I meet the band?
Yeah, how did that come?
My friend Grizz, you heard him on...
Yeah, he was on... Yeah,
he was on most of my songs.
He was on WTF.
Yeah,
We'll
he
talk
was
about
on
that song in a second.
He was on that song. He went to school with the drummer from the band.
Oh, okay.
So I met the drummer, and then he had a couple friends that he played with as well. So we all came together and became No Detours.
Awesome.
No Detours.
And you still perform with them, right?
No, I perform solo now. Yeah.
And how's that going?
It's great. I
mean, you've been
I don't have to
doing...
defend on myself.
Right, and you've been doing shows, right?
Yeah,
what was
I've been
your
doing
latest
shows for a
show?
while. I did a show 2 nights ago.
Recently, yeah, I was gonna say, I think I just saw it.
Brooklyn. Did a show in Brooklyn.
Nice. So in 2015, you came out with Unstoppable, which is the name is extremely fitting for that album.
Thank you.
You're just on beast mode the entire time.
Thank you.
What triggers this confidence we hear in songs like Day Off or Off Day and WTF, where you say eight. What'd you say? You said
she was
eight
an
in the
8
body,
in the body, but a 1 in the face.
Yeah. So what triggers that confidence?
It's just having fun. Like
right?
When I recorded the whole WTF song with Grizz, we were just having fun in the studio. We just had a good time.
Right.
And it was just kind of not thinking about it, you know. And
don't
just,
think too.
Yeah, don't think about it too much.
Yeah,
have fun. Be yourself.
So how long does it typically take you to record an album?
To record an album?
Or to
like come up with the whole everything.
Everything. Absolutely.
It really depends. Could be anywhere from 2 months to a year, honestly, to be honest with you.
It's pretty impressive. I know people that have been working on one album for years. 2-3 years.
Yeah, I don't know, because sometimes if I go back and... Well, that's a good thing and a bad thing.
Right.
Because it's a good thing that you'll go back to the songs that you wrote 2 years ago and you'll see them and say, oh, this doesn't hold up in time, or I don't really like this anymore.
Right.
And then you'll be able to discard that. But I kind of like putting myself in that year or period of time, 2014, putting my whole self into that album.
Absolutely.
And then I'll be like, oh, wow, I was feeling this in 2014. Go back and listen for myself, because I'm a fan of myself as well. I mean,
perfect.
You know?
I love that. Do you listen to Russ?
No.
He's not new, but he the fame is new to him, I'll say. So he's the same way. I saw an interview with him. He said you almost have to turn yourself into a monster doing this. You have to tell yourself you're the best. You have to know it, because then no one else is going to know it.
It's all about that. It really is.
Absolutely, and I love that. I love that confidence. So change of plans. Okay, what plans changed?
Everything. I didn't know I was going to move to California.
Right, and how
I
was
just
that?
did it. It was great.
And you were there for
about 7 months.
What'd you do?
Everything I possibly could. I worked 2 jobs at a comedy club and a production company. So I did sound at the comedy club, and then production company I did audio, a whole bunch of crazy stuff at that production company.
Wow, good for you, man.
I did like everything from the Ellen Show to crazy
Hold on.
stuff.
Pause.
Yeah.
How's Ellen? Did you meet her?
I didn't meet her, but I was within like arm's distance from her. I didn't want to
right.
bother her. She
Oh,
had
right,
security
right,
guards and stuff, so I was just like, but I was standing next to Macklemore.
Oh my
He didn't want nothing to do with me, but it's alright.
Celebrities, am I right?
He can't drive either, so.
That's awesome. Wow. So, how long did this album take you to make?
Change of plans?
Yeah.
I would say 4 months or so. I mean, I wrote the song. I listened to the beats kind of forever, and then I was thinking of stuff like literally on my drive to work or to wherever I was going in Los Angeles, and then by the time I kept coming up with concepts or choruses and stuff in the car, and then I wrote them down, recorded the beats. Recorded the rough takes, and then I did the recording of the actual album.
Yeah, that's something I've noticed about you. You're very melodic. Like
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you listen to a lot of like melodic artists, like or rappers? What other rappers do you listen to, or artists?
That's a good question.
Because you seem inspired by not just rap.
Yeah.
Because you had jazz, as we were talking before, you had jazz instrumentals and samples, and you're pretty well cultured in music.
Thank you.
So you have very.
I appreciate it.
You know,
Yeah, I don't
eclectic
usually
taste.
listen to rap for inspiration for the most
Interesting.
part.
Yeah.
Well, my dad always listened to rock music in the car or at home,
Wow.
like 80s rock. So I listened to a lot of that. Not even like me putting it on and listening to it,
Right.
but I subconsciously listened to it and heard
Yeah.
it all.
Whatever goes in comes
That.
out.
And then if I'm
Absolutely.
in the car, I'll listen to jazz or something easy listening to.
That's awesome.
Or I listen to no music in the car and just think of
Just think.
ideas.
I hear you.
So I mean, as far as rap, I would listen to like Rakim or like Nas, Tupac. Those are my guys. As far as like the actual lyrical rapping goes.
Yeah, rock. Wow, I haven't heard people say Rakim in a minute. Rakim
Because he's
lives.
Nas' favorite rapper, and Nas is my favorite rapper.
Right,
so
right.
It only makes sense.
Rakim goes back to like '78. Like the start.
And he never cursed.
No, he didn't.
So
Him?
I mean, there was like 1 or 2 songs where he slipped up and did a
Right.
curse word.
But it wasn't.
He didn't have to curse to
Exactly.
be one of the best rappers of all time.
Absolutely right. And are you trying to stay clear of having features on this album or any album, or did you just think that the songs didn't need them? Because on this album you don't have features.
No features.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. I thought of maybe this album as a self journey, so I kind of just did it on my own. But I didn't really think of not having features.
Right.
I didn't think of that until you mentioned it, actually.
Well, here I am.
But that's good observation. I like that.
Thank you. That's what I do. So, what's your favorite song off this album?
Take a Chance is a good one. It's one of the more popular ones.
Yeah, that's a good
I like Always Late. It's cool.
Yeah, you were 2 minutes late today.
It's cool. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. But all right. So, what's your favorite song in general that you've ever done?
Oh, that's a hard question. Try That is a really good song.
It is.
I like that song a lot.
I like that it took you a second to think of it, because in your head I think you were like, well, I have so many good songs.
Yeah. Oh,
Which I like. I don't like when people say, well, I don't listen to myself.
No, I love my music.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not cocky. I'm just like,
No, you're
I just
confident.
like listening to my music. It's cool.
Absolutely.
It's cool.
So, No Distractions and Take a Chance are very inspirational, relatable records. What do you attribute to that way of thinking? You seem very focused and driven. Has it always been that way? If not, what kind of shaped you to be that way?
That's a good question. Well, No Distractions. Both of those songs were not originally lined up to be on the album.
Okay.
So I had the other 3 songs already laid out,
Right.
ready to go. And then my friend from New York came to California, and we started working on that. And then we were literally working on that beat through FaceTime, the No Distractions beat,
Wow.
through FaceTime. And I was just like, yo, play that again. Or I was writing the rap as he was working on the beat.
Right.
So I was just trying to think of how do I need to get myself prepared for this, to record this whole album, because none of it was recorded either. So I was like, I gotta be focused. And then I kept saying that stuff to myself.
Right.
And then I was saying, how focused am I? And then I remember when I used to play basketball. I used to play basketball in high school. I think my mom told me, think about like you're Michael Jordan at the foul line.
And that's the first.
And then I was like, what do you mean? And then she's like, he doesn't think about nobody around him or whatever. And I thought of that, and that stuck with me. And I thought, oh, Michael Jordan at the foul.
Yeah.
Nah, nobody's around me. It's just me in the hoop with nobody surrounding. That's how I came up with that.
That's great. I love listening to the story behind the music because it just makes sense. But even your music, it's super clear. Like I could completely understand what you're saying. And
Thank you. That's one of my
the story behind
things that I'm aiming towards.
Absolutely,
is clarity,
man.
Especially even when I'm performing.
You're
I want
getting
people
there.
to hear what I'm saying. That's number one.
I love it. So at your shows, what could we expect? Like, what's your relationship with your fans? What's that like? Tell us about that dynamic and everything.
At my shows, you can expect good music, I would like to say.
Right.
Energy, definitely energy at my shows. Clarity, and a fun time. I think a fun time all around. I'll have like call and responses at my shows. Like, when I say no, y'all say play.
Right.
No, play. No, play.
Look at you, man.
Yeah.
Good for you. You really remind me of like just pure hip hop, not just. I don't even want to say like. I feel like nowadays, like just the word rapper has a bad connotation to it.
Me too.
Just
Me too.
hip hop artist is really what you're representing, and it's amazing.
Thank you.
So what are you working on at the moment? Are you working on an album?
Well, right now I have a couple singles in store that I have almost ready to go.
Okay.
I'm working on an album as well, but I figured one of these songs that I'm working on should be a single and should come out on its own aside from the album.
Right. And we're gonna play one of your singles that you just released.
Oh yeah, sure.
And that's Ralph
Davis, yeah, featuring my man Gene.
And oh, you just shot a music video, or you just released one not too long ago, right? And that was shot in California.
That was in California, yeah.
Are you shooting another one soon?
I have another music video already done, and it should be coming out
maybe
next week. Yeah.
And where'd you shoot that?
That was shot in Vegas. That one was in Vegas. It was fun.
Sounds fun. And you actually didn't you do you did a remix to Unthinkable, right?
Unforgettable, yeah.
Unforgettable,
I did.
yeah. And that was in Vegas,
I shot that in Vegas too.
That was good.
That was very sporadic. I was in the car listening to the song, Unforgettable, and then there was like a long period of time where there was nothing on it. So I was just kind of freestyling over the beat, and then it just came about.
Awesome, man. So last question. Where can people find your music?
You can find my music at antwon'tstop.com.
Perfect.
Or you can follow me at A&T Won't Stop, and all my music is on there.
A&T Won't Stop. I want to play that song. Now I have to stick in my head. All right, A&T, amazing to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being a true hip-hop artist.
Of course.
And not like, everyone else.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Everyone else, yeah.
So nice to meet you. Okay, guys,
Thank
we're going to
you very
play... Which one do you want? Just My Type?
Play Just My Type, yeah.
Just My Type by A&T. All right, guys.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
WNYK Radio.
Woo!
Shout out Kayla.